I was the coolest kid at this community college by far, driving this white 911. I had gone away to college and come back for the summer, and I was taking summer school classes. So at the time, my sister was dating Skip Bayless. He was a famous sports writer in Texas, but then has now since become relatively well known around the country on CNN and SportsCenter and Fox. He probably doesn't remember me, but he might remember the time that he asked me to deliver his Porsche from his country club to his house when I was only 19 years old. You know, I remember being in the house one evening and getting a call from him, and he said, "Hey, I'm in Thousand Oaks at Cowboys training camp, and I left my car at the country club, and the keys are on the tire. It's the white 911. I was just wondering if you could actually take it, pick it up, and deliver it to my house, if you don't mind doing me this favor." So I'm like, I can help you with that. Absolutely. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I handle this? There's a Porsche 911. I've got permission from the owner. The keys are on the tire. What am I going to do? I called my sister, who he had asked her and told her the whole situation as well. So I said, okay, I have class tomorrow that goes until late in the afternoon. And then I was planning on meeting some friends after school. I was just wondering, maybe I could deliver the car, and I know you work, so why don't I deliver the car around 10 p.m.? Would that work? And my sister's like, yeah, sure, that's cool. And it's like, okay, cool, I'll go pick it up, I'll go deliver it. You can then take me back home, and easy breezy, right? So at 6 a.m. the next morning, I wake up and I head over to the country club, drop my car off, pick up the 911, and I take it. Where he might have expected maybe my sister or someone to follow me from the country club to his house to drop the car off in a nice, gentle way, it turns out that I Ferris Buellered it for about 15 hours and put 300 of the most glorious miles on this car that could ever be imagined for a 19-year-old kid. And so knowing Skip and his personality, I can assure you that that car, for the very first time in its whole life, was driven the way it had always wanted to be driven. I mean, it was like a soccer mom who had not been touched by her husband in a year. I was the coolest kid at this community college by far, driving this white 911. It was awesome. Class gets out, I take it, and I go pick up my best friend. And so he and I driving it all over the place. We go to dinner, we hang out, and I mean, it's awesome because it's like the first real sports car I'd ever driven, and it was so cool. And then a little bit later, it gets dark, and there's this street in Dallas, Texas called Forest Lane. And if anybody who's my age, sees this, they're gonna know Forest Lane. It's where everybody would cruise, just up and down. I mean, Vanilla Ice used to be, dancing up on top of his Z28 on Forest. I mean, it was, back before he was Vanilla Ice, he was still just this Robbie Van Winkle guy. And then we ended up, doing a few high-speed runs up and down Dallas North Central Tollway. It's this straight shot, but it kind of undulates going underneath these bridges. And so, 140 miles an hour, you're kind of lofting up over the edges, and then coming down, and you're feeling the G-forces as you kind of bottom out, and then you come back up. And I mean, it was awesome. It gets to be about 1 in the morning. My sister, this is before cell phones, so there's no calling or anything. So I finally take it to Skip's house, and my sister is standing in the driveway like this, just with this look of, I'm going to kill you kind of thing. I get out of the car, I reach forward to the odometer, boop, zero it out, hop out, pull the car in, and set it there. And we get in her car, and she takes me home. But when we started to get home, I guess there's some communication had been happening between my sister and my dad. So now my dad is standing in the driveway, and he's just looking at me like he wants to kill me as well. So he starts yelling at me. My sister's yelling at me. They're asking me where I've been all day. And I said, sorry, I just drove it a little bit longer than I should have. Are you going to tell Skip that I did this? And she's like, no, we're not. But anyway, you dumbass. Caught all sorts of scorn, all sorts of crap for like an entire week after this. I kind of look back on that whole thing and I think, even if I was grounded for a month, I still would have done it.